What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back again with another 90-day fiance update video, and this one right here is all about Thais and Patrick, including Patrick's family too. But before we get into it, let's start off by giving a big massive shout out to every single person that is a member of the channel, every single person that is a member of Patreon, where you can find the most recent episode of Married at First Sight, episode 4 of season 15. And of course, let's give a shout out to every single person that is a subscriber. Now, with that being said, let's get into this one. Now, in the last episode of 90 Day Fiance, season 9, episode 15, Thais finally got to meet Patrick's mother as well as Patrick's sisters. I keep going to say John, I don't know why. But anyway, let's get into it, and I can break down exactly what I was able to decipher from the conversation that they had at the end of the episode.
Is? Oh, it's magical. Oh, wrong country. Yeah. Are you homesick? Like, do you miss home? Like, you miss home?
Yes, homesick, because in my country, like, you know everyone in my city. I have a lot of friends there. But I have you.
Yeah. Today, I spent a lot of time with Thais, but I still feel like I haven't figured her out yet. I feel like when she answers my questions, they're always very vague. I think she's very young. She still has a lot of maturing to do. And the fact that they're getting married next week, do I think Patrick's ready? I do. But I don't know if Thais might be ready to get married, let alone move to another country.
Now, this right here is exactly what I want to identify, exactly what I want to point at. I do highly believe that this whole meal wasn't built to necessarily bring Thais and Patrick together. And it wasn't necessarily to ensure Thais that she is going to have another family in America, because the reason why Patrick brought her to meet the family in the first is because he wanted her to feel like as if she's gonna have other people to go to because she misses home, and also the fact that he now knows that the dad doesn't want him to get married, and therefore he's worried that Thais might want to go back home to Brazil. So he's trying to get her to mingle with his family, so therefore she can see his family as, well, her family, and also as her friends. But the saddest thing, but not the saddest, but the thing is though, with the mother and the sisters, they've picked up on Thais' potential immaturity. Actually, forget that. Her immaturity, her not necessarily being ready to be in a relationship, and also for them wanting their brother and their son to be in a relationship with someone that is definitely way much more mature, way much more heads-on, and someone that already has their mindset in terms of what they want to do, and most certainly doesn't have a father who's trying to stop the wedding from even happening. But hey, let's continue, because that right there was just the beginning.
Do you think that you can make Dallas your home? Do you feel like when you are in Dallas, do you feel at home? Or
I think so.
I would hope if you start to have a family, because a lot of it's mature, and to be with Patrick and have a family with Patrick and have your own life.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
My mom has like zero filter, and she can be really direct. Like, I remember when I was a little kid, I would like bring home art, and she'd be like, "What the hell is that?" And I was like, 10 years old. So I'm worried about how they're gonna deal with that side of her.
For me, myself in particular, I don't really think it's the fact that his mum is being too direct. End of the day, she's keeping it 100 and she's saying what's needed to be said. She's trying to look out for the best for her son, to be honest with you, because clearly she's had a life where she has definitely done a lot of screw-ups around her children anyway, but she's trying to do the best she can. And the matter of the fact is, if she's able to identify that her son is with a woman, or a girl, shall I say, who isn't necessarily at a mature level to understand that, well, if you're going to get married to someone, you got to be prepared to put that person first above your family, because at the end of the day, one thing that a lot of people miss out on or don't understand, especially people that are very family orientated, and I find this more with women, maybe, I'm going to say I find this more with women than I do with men, but then again, it's probably because I've only ever been in relationships with women, because I like women, so therefore I wouldn't know how men are. But one thing that I can say from my own experiences is that being in a relationship with someone that makes you feel like as if they put their family in front of you is one of the worst feelings possible, because at the end of the day, if you're with me and you want us to start a family, well, I've got to feel like as if I am your number one, and then you, not that your family is number two, but I've got to feel like as if I am the priority, as if I am now your family, and we are on that journey to build our family, whether that be having kids or getting married or whatever it could be. Thais is not there. She's at a moment. She's at a stage where she's kind of half there, but half not. She's half there in terms of that. In terms of the fact that she went to America, but she's not there because she still doesn't know how to go about things, because she doesn't want to disappoint her father. But also at the same time, though, her father might not want to. we are under the impression that maybe the father doesn't want her to get married to Patrick because maybe he doesn't like him, maybe he doesn't trust him, but maybe at the same time the father knows that his daughter just isn't ready. Maybe he just doesn't want his daughter to get married straight away because she's still quite young and she still has a lot of maturity she still has a lot of maturity, obviously, to mature. Yeah, whatever the word is. Yeah. What? I'm not saying that's the case. I generally do feel like the father just doesn't like Patrick, to be fair, but you never know, that it could be a case where he knows that his daughter just isn't ready for this life just yet. But I like the fact that the mother and the sister are actually picking on these things. Now, I don't believe that they're actually picking on her or they're ambushing her. They're just keeping it 100. But obviously, Patrick is panicking because he doesn't want to lose her. He's panicking because he bought her there in hopes that his sister and his mother would actually help her want to stay and her to want to marry him despite her father. But to be honest with you, it's better to give her some truths rather than to fill her out with some lies that are just non-existent. But hey, let's continue.
You know about Brazil. Brazil does have its promises for family, but there's not much economical balance there. You know?
It wouldn't make sense to raise your kids in Brazil.
You're not running away to Brazil with a baby. I'll follow you all the way. My grandchild will live in America.
Se eu e o Patrick viemos a nos casar, nós vamos conversar sobre.
Now, obviously, when it came to that comment itself alone about my grandchild will live in America, to be fair with you, now that's something that I would definitely be worried by if my mom said that, because I'd be like, whoa, let me have that conversation with my missus. I don't think that's really your place. But at the same time, though, this is the part where I can say that John's mom isn't necessarily being reasonable. This is where she's definitely now looking out for herself. I said John, didn't I? Well, it is John's mom, isn't it, technically? But anyway, but this is where 100% Patrick's mom is now looking out for herself, because she's obviously not feeling well. She obviously wants to be here if they have a kid, and she wants to be able to spend as much time as she can with the grandchild, which is completely fine. But with that being said, though, it's very important that Patrick's mom explains that in the best way possible to us, rather than saying that you can't do this, you can't do that. But the worst thing is telling someone that they can't do something, and then in the end, they're going to want to do it just because you're telling them that you can't. It is the rebel within us. All humans have it, give or take, if you dig what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, that part there, right there, I can't support that, because that was definitely not the way to go about it. And that's obviously the real reference of what Patrick was trying to say when it comes to his mother and her very, cutthroat type of approach. But hey, let's continue.
Ter filhos, mas eu não acredito que será uma coisa fácil criar filhos longe de casa. Me senti meio... Sabe quando você não pode fazer nada? Tipo, a pessoa tá... Parece que você não tem voz. As pessoas ficam tentando falar o que você tem que fazer.
I just couldn't imagine being in your shoes. You come, I'm assuming, from a very family-oriented, where everyone is like hands-on. Like, how are you going to be able to handle having a child and just not having your parents there? Exactly.
So, I don't have my family here. And...
Once she gets her paperwork and she can travel, then we'll go to Brazil and visit. Because I understand how hard that is, and I know how close she is with her dad. So it's like,
Your father doesn't like you being here? Does that make it harder for you to be here?
Yes, for sure.
But one thing I can tell you is when you get older in life, your father, your mother, they're not going to be your main relationship anymore, because you need to have a relationship with a man. So this will be taking over your relationship that you had with your father.
Like, my opinion, this is what I'm thinking. You don't want to be here. You're only here because of him. But you seem like, yes, you seem like you would rather be in Brazil than be out. Sure, you want to live here.
No, not sure.
And that right there, the fact that she says, I'm not sure, that is what the sister's referencing to about, I can't really figure out, because she's always a bit like, And this is a lack of this is a lack of maturity. But the matter of the fact is, though, Patrick's sister is speaking a lot of sense there, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, I just think that they're just making it abundantly clear that if you're planning on marrying our son, our brother, well, just make sure that your priorities are in the right place, because if they're not, well, then there's no need for you to be here, because you're just wasting our time. You're wasting his time, because at the end of the day, we definitely don't want you to be marrying him, and then all of a sudden you gotta disappear to Brazil. We gotta know exactly what's happening with all the eggs laid on the table, because right now, each time we have a conversation with you, everything that you give us as an answer is okay, okay, oh, I don't know. Those are not answers. Those answers are not acceptable, and no one should be accepting those answers. And this does come from the fact that Thais is 100% cagey, 100% sneaky, and that's something that we've definitely seen with her coming to the stage without telling her father. And the fact that she's more than happy to to complain and express when she's not happy with his behavior. But then when it comes to certain things, like for example, wanting to get married without telling her father, those are things that are just not acceptable. And then when it comes to serious conversations that are being asked and serious things that do matter, she doesn't want to challenge them, because if you see with herself in particular, she's more of do it now, pay the consequences later. The problem is though, is that you see Patrick is someone that has built a business, and someone that the rest of his family obviously looks up to him. They obviously love him and cherish him, and they obviously now have built a relationship that is stronger than before. And they definitely don't want no one coming in and, you know, basically kind of ruining that, which would make all the sense. And I'm pretty sure, I'm actually really surprised that the prenup conversation hasn't really been a common thing, to be honest with you, purely because she is someone who just doesn't give flat answers. And I think that this thing here was very much needed, and this conversation was very much needed. But the saddest thing about it is that the family still got nothing out of Fiancé, and that is something that is always going to be very, very key before a marriage. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you are thinking in the comment section, and we'll talk about it. Like, subscribe, and peace.